Baby, what are you doing?
I am never going to look at Sharon the same.
I'm never going to look at champagne the same. Hi everyone, welcome to Iroko Critic.
Critics with Receipts.
I'm Mrs Critic.
And I'm Mr. Critic.
And today we're reviewing Coming from Insanity. But first, the plot.
A boy genius trafficked into servitude grows up to become a master counterfeiter, making him rich and a police target based on a true story. Is this a real life story, as in real life story, or is it one of those Fargo type based on a real life story?
No idea, but let's see what the film did right.
You know what, let's switch it up. Let's start from the bad.
Mr. C, you don't want the director to retweet our review.
Cool down, there's some method to my madness. Mrs. C and I had a lot of fun with this movie, so I'd like us to end our review on a high.
Alright, fair enough. Hang in there till the end, guys.
You know our favorite movie crime, excessive drone shots. If we'd been playing the drinking game, we may have had to pump our stomachs by the end. We even got the opening drone shot that we've missed in the last few movies.
It was an establishing shot, Sha.
Yeah, we'll forgive them for that one, but most of the drone shots were unnecessary and distracting. There was this particular shot, I could see the artistic attempt on what he tried to do, but it just looked like someone trying to do an artistic attempt. It just didn't work.
Alright, some of the edits were distracting as well. Take the scene with a jump cut right in the middle of it. Did he fall on his keyboard there? What about here? And what about here?
Larry has been calling me. They're about to give the plane.
What about
I think they get it. The director is credited for writing, directing and editing. And we have to say his strengths lie in the directing. No shade, Mr. A.
Maybe it was a budget issue?
Maybe it was, but it was still jarring.
Okay, fine. Mr. Orange and Teal, how about the color?
Oh my goodness, the color. Let me tell you. The film couldn't decide on a color scheme. I don't know if it was intentional or just vibes. We open with this, and then we have this, then this, then this. Look at all the different colors in these shots. It's not like you can't have different looks, but there's usually a point to having a different color. If you want to move somewhere hotter, you can add this yellow tint to give it that warm feel. But this film just looks like 5 different films in one.
Wait, would you have preferred just Orange and Teal?
Your comment.
Honestly, the worst thing about this film was the sound.
It's not good.
Dakula, the rubber factory officer.
Oh my goodness, the sound was bad.
Correction.
This is our house.
How are you? Sacrifice, and that is why they live all this glorious life.
But it may not bother some of you. We basically deal with audio, so our ears might be a lot better than yours. How else am I meant to put it? Okay, more sensitive than yours.
Some parts seemed rushed. We didn't understand how some conclusions were reached. The point of this film was its counterfeit dollars fooled machines and money changers.
The machine didn't pick up anything?
But we're not really sure how the police came onto him. How did they know it was fake? And how did they decide that Kosi was definitely the man they were after? The film leaves small clues, but nothing substantial or satisfactory to us.
A few more things were just vibe. At a point, the movie makes it clear that the key to making a good fake is getting the right paper.
You can't just get rap paper like that.
And it's something they struggled to get their hands on the first time. But how did he get enough paper for subsequent jobs?
Did what? $1 million.
A lot of things weren't quantified. How much had they made? How much did they need? If you haven't guessed, we're both Breaking Bad stans, and that...
Don't do it. Don't compare the two.
Okay, fine. But the truth is there are parts of the film you just have to with. And your ability to enjoy this film will really depend on that.
On that note, let's move on to what the film did right. You see all those cons we've just listed? push them aside.
What the actual fuck?
Because despite all of that, the film was 1 hour 30 minutes of entertainment.
This film wasn't fully a technical miss. The score was good and the costuming was well done too. This movie has a lot more planning than your average Nollywood film, and it showed.
The acting was good. Gabriel Afolayan was confident and charismatic, and he really carries this film well. The accent was probably not Togolese, but that's for them to fight over. Sharon, she did what she does best, and the rest of the cast were good.
The story was fresh, and I feel like we've credited movies as having fresh storylines so often that, we must admit Nollywood is doing the Lord's work in providing us fresh stories, even if the executions have often fallen short.
Mr. Akinrupo actually did really well with the execution of the story. We've already highlighted some sore spots, but honestly, it'd be like that sometimes. Even with editing these videos, we start off giving 103%, then deadline approaches, Mr. C has been editing for 14 hours, so what you see is what you get.
Hey, what do you mean?
Focus on Mr. A. He did a lot of things right.
Yeah, he gave us a likable protagonist. The last film we commended for that was The Lost Okoroshi, and that film is great. Please check it out. This was such a huge improvement from the protagonist that could not be named.
Who was that? Give us clues. What was it? A he?
Actually, it was a she. In totally unrelated news, Sharon made an appearance here.
Stop getting distracted. We're talking about our protagonist.
And tell Sharon to stop distracting me now.
Focus! Kosi was a likable protagonist. He was charismatic, and despite his character being a criminal, we could root for him because we saw him struggle and fail and try again.
It also has to do with the fact that his fraud was a victimless crime, to be honest.
Close enough to a victimless crime.
The film was well researched. The wealthy money changers were involved in the day-to-day market process, having meetings, chasing thieves, hosting hijabi beach house parties.
Mr. A has a peculiar style, and it does shine through the film. You can feel his personality in the film, and that's what gives this vibes feeling. The film was actually intentionally funny, and sometimes unintentionally.
To a ton of money!
But look at this transition. It still cracks me up.
On that note, I would say this director is a bit of a pervert.
Is that a good?
Oh yes, in my books, definitely a good.
Is that the real reason you enjoyed this film?
No comment.
One of those scenes is basically a hate crime. I'll let you guys guess which one.
We have to say, when this movie opened with trafficking, we were scared we'd get another film where the message eclipses the story. But we're just there for its backstory and its character motivation. So thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr. A.
So, Mr. C, would you recommend?
Definitely. This was a fun watch.
I want to see what he does next, but I hope he has an editor next time.
Yep. And hire Sharon too.
Okay guys, that's our review. What did you think of it? Follow us on social media in the description below. Give us a like or a dislike. Subscribe if you're here to stay, and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.